All right. Hey, Corey, what's going on? How are you doing
Hey,
this
how are
morning?
you?
I'm doing well. It is Corey, Chief Revenue Officer at NoCell Technology. Is that correct, Chief Revenue
That
Officer?
that is correct. Yep, that's me.
You used to be the Director of Business Development, and now you've changed to Chief Revenue Guy. So
Yeah,
you're,
they said, "Hey, you need more work to do, so here's your title, and make sure it happens." Right. So,
as long as the new title comes with big cash, I'm all in. You can call me whatever you want to call me as long as you pay me, right?
I'll tell you what, it comes with a lot of days on the road. That's for doggone sure.
So, how
But
many days on the road have you been this last stint?
I left on June 1st. I got back on Saturday. So, I mean, it's been a long road, but
What? You went out on the road on June 1st and you're back on what, the 27th?
25th. Yeah. So
Back on the
here we
25th,
go.
25 days in a month?
25 days. There we go. But we got to preach the gospel according to No Cell, man. We need to
No, I get it. We're going to make you a truck driver being out on the road 25 days in a month, man. I'm telling you right now, that'll get you some cash. You'll
Yeah,
get it. You
I
might
can
as well
have
just fill
that.
out your resume right now. We can get you going.
I'll give you a CDL. Here we go.
All right, so let's talk about why you're here. Let's get down to the meat and let's talk about the seriousness of it. Let's talk about the facts first. I know you have more than I do here on my little bitty piece of paper and right here that I have at my fingertips. Let's talk about distracted driving, and let's talk about some of the facts that are the most current data that we have.
So the most current facts that we've got are from 2020, and we have the stats that 4,132 people died because of distracted driving in the year 2020. I mean, that's a horrific number.
Yep.
And we've talked before. If that was, if it was 4,132 deaths, because of an airline crash or
Yep.
because of a rail crash or because of a marine crash, the government officials would be all over it, and then we'd be, solving this problem because it'd be a problem. But right now, it doesn't seem to be getting the attention that it needs because it's distracted driving and it's people in trucks and in service vehicles and in four wheelers and it's we said it was the epidemic before the pandemic,
I
right? This is a big number.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And look, we're talking about 4,100, and I think that's the most underreported number that you could. That's probably the most conservative number that you
Oh
have
yeah,
because I truly believe that most accidents are caused in some way, shape, form, or fashion by one of two factors. Number one, somebody not paying attention in one way or another, whether it be the radio, whether it be the food that they're eating, or the person they're talking next to, or the telephone,
right.
or it be driving too fast under warranty. Yeah, absolutely. Or under conditions that don't make it safe.
Right.
I truly believe.
It's easily the most underreported cause of a crash and the cause of death.
I
It's
agree with you,
nobody.
and not only that, Corey. Let's talk about the. You can talk the tens of thousands. How about the hundreds of thousands of people injured?
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people injured every year.
The
Not,
ripple effect on distracted driving is more than just that one driver that blows an intersection because that person's looking at the phone and blows it and maybe runs into something. It's the family that they hit. It's the all of a sudden you've got 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, maybe 15 people that are affected by this. Then it's the loss of ability to work for
yep.
that for the truck driver or for the commercial driver. I mean, the ripple effect is huge, and we just got to get the word out there more and more that the number one distraction is the phone, right?
Absolutely.
So if we can eliminate that, then that's a big number to eliminate from these giant numbers.
And as you go out there and you're on the road and you're talking to these people, um, do they believe you that the number? Do people typically believe you? I mean, do they? I know we've been talking about it in the media. We've been preaching on it on television. It can wait. The hashtag it can wait.
Right.
All of these government programs going out there. These messages that are going out there. Is it coming through that this is real I mean, do people that you're talking to, do they believe you, or is it, yeah, well, yeah, and does it take an argument to get you there?
It's people believe it, right? Because and there's hands-free laws now in 47
Watching
states.
BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
What are you doing? Okay, never mind.
And so, I mean, we know that they know it's an issue, right? Because every single potential customer or customer that I talk to, they have a horrific story. They have, hey, my driver of the year, 20 years with us, never had an accident, looked at the phone one time, blew an intersection, T-bone a minivan, and that driver's never the same, that family's never the same.
Right.
Insurance rates go through the roof. I mean, there's just so many, so many things that occur just with a bad decision to, check and see what that buzz, beep, or ding did, from the phone.
You know, I
So,
and I truly believe that so I'll tell you, I really believe that the telephone has created this horrible danger inside this technology that we all use, that is
right.
fascinating, that we all, I don't even know how we could live without it now, right? We lived without it. I grew up without it. I did fine for 30 years, and then all of a sudden I get a cell phone, and I don't know how I'm going to go the next day without one in my pocket.
Right.
But I think it's brought to light that distracted driving is the number one killer in the country, really. And because it's the number one part of that distracted driving, and it's grown dramatically over the years. The problem has continued, right? I mean, with you guys, people are FaceTiming, right? They're watching Netflix while driving.
People are making TikTok videos while they're in a commercial vehicle. People are taking Zoom calls while they're on the road, right? I mean,
Behind the wheel.
I saw this vehicle the other day, and it was set up with a Ring camera, a Ring lights, and a phone hanging from the rearview mirror so that the driver could be on video while they were driving. It was just, I mean, it's the most insane stuff I've ever seen. That the addiction to the cell phone is just absolutely horrible, right? I mean, I talked to some people at a trade show when I was actually down in San Antonio last week, and we just asked the question: if you lost your wallet, your laptop, or your cell phone, which one would you miss the most? And they were losing their mind thinking, what? I mean, if I lost my cell phone, I would not be able to live. People get their cell phone at home, and they'll drive back 15, 20 miles to go and get their cell phone.
Okay,
right?
I will I will tell you right now. I come to work without my wallet. I'll borrow $10. You know what I mean? I'll borrow.
Yep.
I leave my laptop. I'll use somebody else's computer, right? Or I'll find a computer to work or a workstation to work at. I leave my cell phone. I'm going back home. I got to go home. I got to go home and get it because it's got all my contacts on it. And if I lost it if I lost it in the lake, I'm up at the Apple store today. I'm standing in line at Apple waiting to get a new phone.
Well, there's that adage about the golfer that he misses the putt and he gets so upset he throws his golf bag in the lake, and then he jumps back in the lake to get his cell out of his golf bag, and then he walks home, right?
Yeah, he gets his cell phone.
Right. I mean,
yeah,
it's an addiction that's just incredibly strong.
All right,
People are looking at their phones 96 times a day, 96 times an hour right now.
96 times an hour.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so I've sat at TikTok and watched the whole thing. So if I sat there and watched TikTok for an hour, does that count as once?
If you're watching one, that's a pretty good TikTok video though. But that's a rabbit hole that you can go down pretty quickly.
It is. All right. So Corey, let's talk about what NoCell is, where it came from, and what NoCell offers to help with this epidemic.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. So NoCell is an anti-distracted driving technology, right? And technology got us into this mess, and technology is going to have to get us out of this mess. And it's a technology that includes a NoCell tag that goes in the vehicle, an app that goes on the portal, or an app that goes on the phone, and then a portal that allows you to whitelist the apps that you want the driver to have access to while they're physically in the vehicle and moving. and then all the other apps are removed from the phone while they're driving, so they don't have access to TikTok and FaceTime and Netflix and all that, those distracting apps. And I mean, we're out there preaching the gospel, and we just back in May. We teamed up with Nationwide Insurance, and they're a great partner, and they are promoting this to all of their commercial insureds. We've got a campaign that's launching, Safe Driver Week, starting July 10th with Nationwide Insurance. So we've got a bunch of activities planned around that. But, we're just trying to get out there to, get the word out and to have people actually take action on this thing. Instead of just putting a policy in place or putting a law in place, you have to take proactive action.
Yeah, I think, and I'll tell you what I like most about NoCell is that it actually relieves the driver of the problem of worrying about what to do with the phone, how to deal with the phone. It doesn't mean you can't call 911 if you need to. It doesn't mean that you can't receive a phone call if you allow it, right? If you allow phone calls to come in while you're driving because they have head free, you can do that. If you allow driving with the map mobile, like a map, whatever app you allow with the NoCell technology, you can go through. But rest assured, right, Corey, it doesn't matter what it is. The minute the vehicle stops, all the apps are able to be used.
Yeah, I mean, there's a delay built in.
Right.
So if you come to a red light or a stop sign, right, it stays in policy. But he pulls off to the side of the road. Driver picks up the cell phone, gets out of the vehicle. It instantly goes back to full functionality, or after that delay time is exhausted. Yeah, full functionality. We really give a tool to a company to enforce their cell phone policy.
I like it.
And to make sure that, if you want them to have, some type of navigation plus an ELD and, whatever else, they can have whatever the company wants them to have access to, right? So we're not blocking the whole cell phone. We're not, making sure they can't, receive a call from home or from dispatch or from, the customer or whatever. We give you a tool to make sure you can enforce your cell phone policy, prove that you're enforcing it, and then have the metrics to do any corrective action that you might need to do.
Absolutely. I tell you what I like about it. I mean, basically, here it is to me, Corey, you talk about it and you talk about this technology. It allows you to add another seatbelt to the driver. I mean, yeah. I'm amazed at the possibility that here it is, if you have let's just say, and it goes beyond just commercial driving, right, out there in big trucks. You are going to have a fleet of pizza delivery guys, 100%. Right? And they can be using the map to get around, but they can't watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're offering up an opportunity to create a more successful fleet out there without being distracted and not being intrusive into their lives. I mean, you're not asking them to jump through hoops while they're driving. You're asking them you're basically giving them the ability to not make those mistakes.
Yeah, because we just want them to get home safe every single night or get to their next stop safe every single day, right? And I talk to drivers, I'm like, what do you actually need on your phone? I mean, do you need TikTok? Do you need Facebook Live? Do you need...
While you're driving.
While you're driving. And they're like, no, I actually don't. And the drivers that we have in place, they said it's so much less stress because they don't have the buzzes, beeps, or dings while they're driving. So They don't have to worry about, who just texted me, who just liked my, Facebook post or Instagram post or something like that, right? We take the stress out of their day, and that's the driver resistance hurdle that we're overcoming, and that's why we're getting more and more installs. Right.
What is the biggest, and I'm just going to ask, what is the biggest argument against it because you face it every day? You're out there every day. You're talking to drivers every day. What is the biggest hurdle what is the biggest hurdle that you face every day when you're trying to talk to them about your technology? I really am curious as to what is that biggest hurdle?
The biggest hurdle is the mental hurdle. They're like, we don't want you to put anything on our cell phone, right? Company cell phone, personal cell phone, that's my cell phone. I don't want you putting anything on it whatsoever. And we just go and ask the questions, right? What do you need? What is the app that you need? And if your company says, yes, you can have, Audible books, you can have, Spotify, you can have something like that, then there should be no issues, right? But you don't need to make a TikTok video while you're going down, I-95 or whatever. That's just something it's fraught with danger. There's no positive that comes out of that, just risk.
How did NoCell get started? Because I think it's a good story. I want it told. So go ahead and tell us again exactly how NoCell was brought about and why you're out 25 days in a month running around preaching the gospel. Why don't you tell us how NoCell originated?
So we've got a gentleman who's the owner of NoCell, and he's got a very successful business, by himself. I mean, uber successful. And he has 7 kids, which is a feat in itself, right? But the 4 of those kids were in high school at the same time, and there was a horrific texting and driving accident here in Southern California. Right. And he just put his foot down and said, look, I'm already making my money over here. This is my, I'm going to pass this on to the next generation, but I'm going to leave my legacy on this earth by eliminating distracted driving, and have people, too many of those horrible phone calls, whether it be a parent getting a phone call about a kid, or a fleet manager having to call next of kin because of a driver. Right. So he started this company about 5 years ago, brought me on 3 years ago to bring it to the commercial space. And, it's a great technology. I mean, you guys have got it. I know you guys are working with it. Right. We are just trying one install at a time to save lives. And that is the question I get every Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time is, how many lives did we save this week? How many installs we do? He's only worried about eliminating distracted driving. So, it's the best case scenario that I've ever been in. It's a great product. It's a great passion with the whole team. And we're doing good. Like every single day with every install, we save lives. And we always say, I get up early every morning to make sure that drivers get home every night.
Yeah, that is a mission. We preach safety here. We believe in it. It is our passion, no matter in what form it comes in, and how it can allow us to be better and to get home. We believe in life here, and whatever the decision, it needs to be based on life first. And we're all about that. We're all about trying to figure out how to improve our lives, not only free from injury, but also free from the hazards of death. But here we go. I've seen the small box that it comes in. Why don't you? It's like the whole thing is in this big of a box. Why don't you tell us what is involved in the install and a little how it works? That's it.
So it's a beacon. So it's a little NoCell tag. Looks like a hockey puck. It's a peel and stick 3M industrial adhesive that goes on the A pillar of the vehicle, and then it's an app that loaded on the phone. Now, the app takes a few minutes. It's probably a 2 to 3 minute install on the phone. So it's, you're not installing Angry Birds or something like that. This is a tool that saves lives. So it takes a little bit of work. But after, 2 to 3 minutes, you've got it installed on the phone. And then you just get everything loaded in the back end of the portal. And really, the phone pairs up with the NoCell tag. And every time you get in the vehicle, the policy is put into place, and then those apps that the fleet manager deems unnecessary are physically removed from the phone. So
yeah,
it's
so your
install.
Yeah, your fleet manager, your safety director, or whomever makes the determination of what apps are allowed while driving. Right? That's all we're talking about. Just apps while driving.
That's it.
And I get it. It makes sense. I'm going to go out there on a limb, and Hulu and Netflix probably shouldn't be used while driving. You know what I'm saying? And Facebook and Zoom and all of these crazy apps that we use every single day in our lives to keep us connected with the world. We shouldn't be connected with the world while we're driving. I think that's what the real lesson here is. We shouldn't be. And I'll tell you, to not have to worry about that ding, because there's a human, right? There's a thing in our mind that when the ding goes off, we want to see who it is. We want to know, we want to be helpful, right? We want to make sure that we're not needed at that moment. and we are drawn to that message.
Yeah, that's it, and that's the reason that we've teamed up with you guys, because we know that you guys are all about safety, right? I mean,
100%.
obviously, you guys get up early every single morning and put the message out there, right? And you ask the right questions, you bring the right people on. You are doing a great service to the industry, and that's why we want to be teamed up with you all, because we're both pointing at the right at the same target.
Well, I'll tell you what, Corey, if you're out saving lives every day by getting these installs done, we will let you carry the banner. I tell you what, it is. We'll let you carry the guide on at the front of the outfit, because I think it's important that people get involved in some way, right? And I think this is a great way. This is a fantastic way that you can start by just generating a conversation with Corey and his team. I think you have a great chance here if you have a fleet of drivers. It doesn't matter if it's big trucks. It doesn't matter if it's small vans. It doesn't matter if you have a fleet that you care about, and you care about those people. Here's a great conversation that you can start with Corey and his team over at NoCell Technology to find a solution for the dangers involved in distracted driving. Because none of us, and I'm telling you, me too, none of us want our driver to make that call, to get that call at night, to get that call in the daytime, to get that call that will forever change the way you look at your fleet. And you don't want to do it later. You want to do it sooner, this call, in order to make things change. And I think be proactive. Find a way. And I think Corey, y'all's team does a fantastic. I think what you need to do is, if you have a chance, if you're a owner of a trucking company, or a operations manager, or a safety director, or if you've got truck, and we're not talking expensive. We're really not talking expensive. What we are talking is active. And you have a chance to make a difference for your team. And here Corey is. Get a hold of Corey. Corey, what's the best way to reach you and your team?
You can reach me on email, Corey, Corey, at NoCell.com, or you can call me directly on my cell phone, 714-262-9051. Call me up. I am here. I mean, this is the passion. This is why we're doing stuff. We're here to help, companies and commercial businesses not have to make a horrific call, right? It's cost versus price. Price is what you pay to do this one time, and cost is what it costs if you don't do it, and the ripple effect of the lawsuits and the loss of life and the loss of productivity and the whole work. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, this is what needs to happen. If you have a fleet and you don't have any type of defense against distracted driving, or you're not sure how to deal with it, just give a call to Corey, get in contact with NoCell, and have a conversation about what their abilities are to help you fight, battle against, and defend yourself. Can you imagine if you went into court today and said, look, we were proactive and went above and beyond what was required to us by law to go out and defend ourselves against distracted driving? That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about an opportunity to help the company, help the drivers, and help society make a change. And Corey does a fantastic. I tell you what, he's passionate about what he does. He cares about what he's doing. And you know what? You ought to hear him talk. You can't stop him from talking about it. And it's crazy. You're like, hey, dude, let's talk football or baseball. But he always finds a way to wind it back around to distracted driving. So if you get a chance, man, make sure you give Corey over at Corey.nocell, right? .com.
No, Corey at NoCell.com.
Corey at NoCell.com. I'm sorry. Make sure you get a message over to him and start a genuine conversation with him, because I think it's going to make a real impact, right? Corey, man,
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on. Before you get out of here, you know what we always do, right?
BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Don't even have to tell him how to do it. I'll tell you what. Thanks a lot, Corey. Hey, man, we're going to have you on again soon. All right?
Absolutely.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. All right.